Good morning, everyone. It's a really exciting week here at the greenhouse. I can't wait to tell you all about it. But first off, what is your favorite first sign of spring? So put it down in the comments below. When you see something and you go, oh, it's going to be spring now. I'll tell you mine. Mine is seeing the robins, and I saw 2 of them this weekend. So it's a little early for them, and I think they're going to get snowed on at some point, but it's so fun to be like, oh, the robins are back. It's time for spring to start. Even if we have some cold weather, there's just that hope. In the greenhouse here, we are starting to fill up, and you can see behind me, and in the other greenhouse, the rails are all filled up, and we ran into the predicament of, I'm out of space. So this week is going to be a moving week. We're going to move into, we have 3 other greenhouses that we sell out of. So the general public doesn't come back into the growing ones, but they do go up into the selling ones. So we're going to start moving product up there to have more room to be able to grow more stuff back here and just filling everything up. So there's going to be a lot of activity around the greenhouse. Our employees come in. It's been just Scott and I for the last few weeks, and now they start coming in for the spring season. We have huge plug orders coming in this week, so that's when all those hands start coming in handy. And we're really excited to see them. We've had one employee, we say she came with the building. She actually worked for my in-laws, and she's been, Scott, how many years? 35 years she's been with us?
Well, us 17.
17 with us, and then plus the extras. Yeah, she's just kind of a staple. And the other 2 employees have been with us for 2-3 years. This was second year for one of them, and they're just like family. So we can't wait to see them and get to hear all the stories of what happened over winter and what vacations they took. So this week is going to be moving week. It's going to be planting week. It's going to be getting more plugs in week. And like the title said on here, it's time to start the tomatoes. So the tomatoes are, the first crop of tomatoes we do are a larger tomato. They're same varieties. They're just going to grow up larger. So when people are purchasing them, they can beat their neighbor. And, Scott's going to start seeding those this week in the greenhouse. So let me switch this over to him so he can talk to you about that. So Scott, what is your first sign of spring?
My favorite sign of spring. I think it's the smells, because you go from the cold, bitter winter, which we really didn't have winter this year, which is strange, but I think it's that first sign of where you start smelling the earth and the things that are starting to, it's just warming up outside, and we do get that, of course, the first bit of that humidity in the greenhouses, so we get to do it a little bit early. But I think once you go outside and you start smelling that, and you know that there's life is coming. You're at the end, and even if we get snow now, the frost is out of the ground. It's not going to last. So there's that hope, that glimmer of hope. So all right, we are seeding vegetables today. This is not our big crop. This is just our starter vegetables. So as Amy had kind of alluded to a little bit of, we're going to be doing tomatoes and we're going to be doing peppers. And we do this first round of big starter vegetables. And we always called those, my dad called them, beat your neighbors. So if that sounds familiar, that's of course is what we call our beat your neighbor fertilizer. And that's actually where we got the name for the fertilizer. Was my dad always started these great big tomatoes so that customers could come into the greenhouses, and because we have such a short growing season up here in northern Wisconsin, he started these tomatoes very early so that a customer could come in, walk out with a starter tomato plant that's this big, and so we continued that tradition. And I still struggle with, we call those beat your neighbors, but beat your neighbor is really a fertilizer. So we have employees, and Amy calls them beat your neighbors, and we're kind of at odds at husband and wife. I'm like, no, we need to come up with a different name for our big starter vegetables. And she's like, no, it's a brand. It's beat your neighbor. So I don't know. I think I'm in a losing battle, and some of the employees still call them beat your neighbors. But anyway, so that's where the name comes from for the beat your neighbor fertilizer. We grabbed it from those old starter vegetables that my dad grew for years and years, from 30 plus years ago. But that's today's agenda, and people ask, when do you start your vegetables? So this is that first crop, and I'm doing it by hand. because we're only doing about 1,000 of them, I think, is our total. So that I can seed by hand. But when we started getting into planting 25,000 tomatoes and thousands and thousands of peppers, I'm not doing it by hand. We'll show you later on once we get into. I have to look on my chart here when we start doing that, but it's like April or late March. But I have it all on a spreadsheet and have all of the different vegetables and some of the flowers that we do still seed. It's all charted out, so I have an exact date. So here it says 3/11. That's today, March 11th, and BYN. Guess what that stands for? Beat Your Neighbors. So I know that I have to go through and on my California Wonder Peppers, those get started today for those big starter plants. And really that doesn't change year after year. We have that date of this is the day that these seeds go in the ground. So I have this strip of 50s that we get our plug trays in for our flowers. I just repurpose them and use, this is a great little tray to use for our, some of the big plugs that we use for the peppers and the tomatoes and the stuff we start by hand. So I just use these plug trays and I fill it up with germinating mix. I've got my seeds in there already, and then I'm going to put a little layer, a little dusting over the top of the seeds that are in there. And this is just, this looks real hillbilly. This thing's probably about 40 some years old. This is my dad made this up. It's got a little screen in here, and you can see that I'll just go through and dust because we want to cover those seeds up.
And why are you covering them up?
Because that's how they germinate. So those seeds have to have a covering. And I'm just gonna scrape this off here. So my peppers are all done, and they're gonna go into, this is our propagation chamber. So each one of these is a heating mat. So they're commercial greenhouse heating mats, and each one of these levels has a heating element. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to mist the seeded vegetables so that it's moist all the way through. And you really have to keep on top of this. Like at night, that's one of the last things I do is make sure that they're moist, because this is going to be heating at 85 degrees all night long, and that's how you get those seeds to pop. And they really love that bottom heat that comes up all the way through. So this whole thing will be filled up with tomatoes and peppers and our vegetables. So that's my job of the day, other than we're going to be moving some hanging baskets and stuff.
I have a question.
Okay, question time.
Yeah, it's from me. So when you mist the peppers or tomatoes, the starter plants, what do you mean by mist? Are you talking like a spray bottle? Are you talking a garden hose?
So this is just it's a misting head, and it does a real fine spray. If I came along with my regular watering wand with that head on here, it throws such a big pattern. It's fine for everything else in my greenhouses, but it would hit this so hard that that real fine dusting of germinating mix and the seeds will come right up out of there. So what we do is we turn this on, and it has just a real fine mist here. I got a clogged nozzle or something. One of them's kind of spitting. But I go through and I hit that real lightly and make sure that that seed tray is totally moist, and then I'll do it again tonight and later on.
So for somebody planting at home, do they need to have a little trays like that, or can they just pot directly into their pots?
It is best. The difference that a heating mat makes is just incredible. That germination rate is just skyrockets as far as your percentage. So you can buy these. We do have those on our beatyourneighbor.com. We don't have these big commercial ones, but we do have some nice. They're about the size of a regular like flat size like this. So I don't know, they're like 11 by 20 or something. And again, those are on our beatyourneighbor.com along with the germinating mix. So that's an area where you can find those tools. And then just some of the seeding stuff. We have that on our beatyourneighbor.com website too. this is just real handy, and this is what I use when we're hand seeding. So these are pepper seeds in here. And, you know, the next time you're at your dentist, and you can ask, dental picks work awesome for seeding. So, you know, sometimes they throw them away when they're at the end of their cycle. You can ask, they might say, no, you're out nothing, but, you know, we use dental picks for just getting those seeds and pushing them out and just doing that by hand. So if you're using
But as far as the tray itself that you planted in, can they put them right into pots?
You know, a lot of people will start with just little individual cups. That's fine if you're not doing a lot of them. You can use little cups. Just make sure they have drainage at the bottom. You know, that if it gets too wet, that it can drip out. But, you know, we just repurpose the plug trays that we get in. So that's just something that we use.
So you're going to be working on filling all of the different plants, getting that ready.
I've got peppers and I've got tomatoes to do today. There's about 1,000 of them. It'll take a little bit.
And about how long until those pop in the germinating?
These we'll start seeing life in probably 3 to 4 days, maybe 5 days at most.
But we'll wait until they have second set of leaves in order to plant them.
Yep. Yeah. They'll start growing in these little individual cells, and we'll just let them grow, and then we'll transplant them into the bigger pots.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's moving day.
It's moving day. It's arm day because all the hanging baskets, all these hanging baskets that are on the benches. These are going to get moved out into our front greenhouses, and so it's arm day. We carry them 4 or 5 at a time, and you are dead tired by the end of the day. But by the time you move maybe 1,000 hanging baskets out into the front greenhouses, if you think that a greenhouse is light, easy work, it's not. It is. You want to lose weight, you want to build muscle, come work in a greenhouse. It's funny. People don't realize how strenuous, you know, how much workout your body gets. And, you know, it's humid and maybe 120, 130 degrees in a greenhouse sometimes. So you get a workout and you sweat. I'll change my shirt 3 times a day. So that's just greenhouse work. So, thanks for joining us, taking a little peek behind what we do and following us, and, you know, be sure to comment below. Let us know, like Amy asked, what's your favorite sign of spring, and what are you looking forward to planting this year? So, yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out, we always do the Saturday stroll, so you can go back on the videos and see how the greenhouse, you know, each time the plugs start up into each week.
Yeah, we'll just follow along with that growth. I hope you're having fun watching our greenhouses transform and as everything is literally growing week to week. And that Saturday stroll, we don't talk too much, but we'll just go along and we'll just kind of show you what's growing.
All right, have a great day.
See ya. Bye-bye.